Hey friends, I'm coming to do another little chat with you guys around Mental Health Awareness Month, which is the month of May. I know I'm at the end of May and just kind of feeling the impulse to start these, but that's okay because I'm probably going to go beyond the month of May, and that's okay. So, what did I want to talk about today? Today, I wanted to talk about something that I hear often, kind of from different friends or family or people, that I just sort of meet out and about. And that is when they say something to me like, yeah, I've tried therapy before, it didn't really work for me, so, like, it's not my thing. Um, my heart goes out to you if that has been you, if you have thought that. And here's why. And this is why I think it's so important for me to talk about it today is I think that there is a lack of understanding out there that therapy is not necessarily a one and done type of thing. Um, and there's two big reasons why I think it's worth giving it another shot. The first thing is that we want to remember that any therapist that you might meet with is a human being, right? That has their own personality, their own history, their own way of doing things, right? Every person is different. So, yes, if somebody is a licensed therapist, we all have, uh, to some degree, similar levels of training and similar levels of knowledge and expertise that's taught to us. Yes. But every person is different, right? And therapy is one of those things where chemistry is super, super important. And I say that because I want for people to know that if you're not feeling the right chemistry with the person that you're working with, number one, you should speak about that, right? Which can feel super duper uncomfortable, but super duper necessary to say, like, I don't know if I'm getting what I want to get out of this, or this feels a little awkward, or whatever. Speak to it, lay that shit on the table. Because maybe it's something that needs to be worked through or worked out, but also maybe it means this is not the right match, right? This is not the right match for you. And that's okay. We are allowed to switch, we are allowed to change. I really truly look at it very similar to dating, right? When we start dating, maybe in adolescence, um, we're generally going to want to try on different people for a little while in whatever various forms before we find the one that we want to match with, right? The one that maybe we want to be with for a significant amount of time. And that therapist relationship is it's a very different intimate relationship, but it's a very intimate relationship, and you want the right chemistry. What that means to you might be different for different people. I could do a whole other talk on that, maybe I will. But know that if it feels like it's not the right chemistry, number one, you might want to speak to it, and number two, if it still doesn't feel right, then switch, right? Try somebody else on who is going to have a different personality, a different way of doing things, a different level of experience of whatever kind. Okay? The other really important thing that I think many times people don't realize is that, again, as a licensed therapist, I'm trying to put this into a nice little nutshell. There's lots of different, there's lots of different uh, degrees and licensure types that somebody might qualify themselves as a licensed therapist. And within that, again, we're all going to have some stuff in common. There's some general knowledge stuff that all of us are going to get no matter what type of licensure we might have. However, the thing that many times people don't realize is there is some variance, slight variance in the types of education or the way in which we look at working with clients. There's a little bit of variance in just that general training. But then the bigger and more important thing that many people don't realize is that even after somebody has completed their degrees and they've done all the hours and whatnot in order to become a licensed therapist, there are often other trainings that some therapists, but not all therapists, will elect to do to better work with their clients. And we kind of refer to those as modalities. So a therapist can be fully licensed and fully able to do therapy, but might choose to go get additional training that they pay for, generally speaking, out of their pocket. And they have to do, lots of training, and then a lot of times hours after the training to become proficient in this specific way of doing therapy. And not everybody chooses that, right? So it's a valuable piece of information to know that if you're working with a therapist, first of all, they are going to have their own personality and whatever, but also they might have a completely different way of conducting a therapy session based on if they've chosen to do additional training in a specific modality that provides them a certain structure and way of doing things and a certain way of looking at issues that come up in therapy, right? So if it didn't feel like the right chemistry with one particular therapist, it might be because it's like a personality thing, a vibe thing, but also it could mean you might want to experience somebody that's practicing a different modality, a different way of conducting a session than what you previously had, right? Many people don't realize that that is a difference, that that's a thing that exists, is that people do therapy differently. They conduct a session differently. I myself, years after, already becoming a licensed therapist, I invested in training to do couples work. I did extensive training with like trauma, something called EMDR. I've done extensive training with IFS, which stands for Internal Family Systems. So that's elective, right? So not everybody does each of those things. So you might want to try somebody on that does things a little bit differently. There are some therapists that are geared a little bit more towards hearing what you're saying, providing some validation, providing a different perspective, or encouraging you to look at things through a different lens. And there are some that, because of the modality that they practice under, are going to go a little bit deeper and a little bit more to the root of things. And let's bring the deep, heavy emotions like right in the room with us, right? It just depends on what you might need, what aligns with you, and what the right fit for you is at a particular spot in your life, right? What you need at one spot in your life might be very different than down the road, right? And that's okay. So again, I want to phrase it sort of like, look at it like dating, like who I dated and when I was 17 is thankfully very different than who I chose to date later on in life, right? My needs were different. What I was looking for was different, and what I was ready for was really different. This is the same way. So I encourage you, if you've tried on the therapy thing and it didn't align with you, find somebody else. Give it another shot. Give it another try with somebody that is just going to be different, right? It's not a, I tried it once and so it just doesn't work for me. Try again. In order to help that, I also I did this, I don't know, a year or two ago. I actually created a cheat sheet to kind of be helpful to people when they were considering trying to find a new therapist or trying to find a therapist. And it's a cheat sheet of like, here's all the things you want to think about and consider when you are looking at different potential therapists. Like, you know, things like modalities, right? Do they practice a specific modality? I cover other things on there too about male versus female, insurance versus not insurance, in person versus virtual, all that stuff. Let me know if you would like that cheat sheet. I'm happy to send it to you, or even if you think somebody you might know might benefit from that, I'm happy to share it with you and you can share it with them. Because again, obviously, I can't be your therapist, but that doesn't mean I don't want to be helpful to anybody and everybody who is looking for it. So I'm happy to share that cheat sheet for anyone that's might be a little bit curious. So let me know if you would like that. If you feel really brave or courageous and want to let me know about your experience in working with your first therapist, I'm happy to hear that as well. Maybe I'm like in another video, I'll share a little bit about the two that the first one that I saw that was not such a great fit, and I didn't know for a long time that I had the permission to switch and change, and then finding the one that aligned with me very, very deeply. So feel free to share that with me as well if you choose. Yeah, and next time, another topic. Ooh, if there's a topic, a mental health related topic that you would like for me to share my thoughts on, you can put that in the comments as well, or you can send me a message. And if it's something that I feel like I can answer, I'm happy to try to do so. Until next time, peace out.